All right. Good morning, 1Million Cups.
Good morning.
All right, come on, round of applause for yourselves. Good morning, 1Million Cups. Good looking around. You guys are really cool this morning. This is great. I wish I could spin the camera around and show you what we're talking about Facebook. But good morning, Facebook Live. Everybody, welcome to 1Million Cups Daytona Beach. I am Tyler LeComte. I'm one of the organizers here for the group. I'm joined by a team of organizers. So if you're an organizer, please raise your hands so people know who you are. Say thank you. Round of applause for you guys for spending a lot of time on this. Any first-time attendees this morning? Oh, there we go. Welcome. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. For your benefit, 1Million Cups is a national entrepreneurial education event. It's based around storytelling, about sharing the story of the entrepreneur, their business, who they are, what's gone right, what's gone wrong. The idea here is for how can we help. So we are proud to welcome Robert Thomson this morning. Robert is the founder of ARC Tracker. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but basically it makes the process of HOA approvals easier, and everybody knows HOAs are awesome. So this is going to be good. Without further ado, I'm going to let Robert take it off. Ready to go?
Good morning, everyone. I've done a couple of these before, and I know that you guys give me more time, so I'm going to, this is great. Okay, better. All right, so I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about myself, where I came from, my history, my journey so far, and then I'll take you into the product I've developed. So my name is Robert Thomson, and I began life, my career, as an accountant. And so I graduated from college, began my first job as an accountant, and hated it. But I found I always loved computers. So every job I had as an accountant, I'd find a way to use my computer skills to automate things. And I frankly realized that accounting wasn't for me, and I wanted to be computers. So I became a self-described serial entrepreneur. Now, that has a kind of a sexy sound to it, doesn't it? Serial entrepreneur. You think of all these guys driving around in Lamborghinis and Ferraris. It's not sexy, okay? The other thing that's associated with serial is a serial killer. That's what you think of. As a serial entrepreneur, I had a couple of ventures in life that failed. So before there was Zillow, I tried my hand at homes to buy. And I developed this whole idea of putting the multiple listing service online. Went nowhere. Couldn't find anybody to take an interest in that. So there was that. Then later on in life, I tried, before there was Yelp, I tried places to eat. And I was going to have every restaurant in the state of Florida online with menus and everything else. Couldn't find investors to do that. And of course, along came Yelp. There we are. So about 7, 8 years ago, I was involved. I moved to a new neighborhood in Orlando, Coy, precisely. And as a new homeowner, I became involved with the HOA. And I became president of the HOA. And I'm going to leave that story for later because that's part of my presentation. But that's kind of where my current concept came from. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. This is my third effort at developing a business. And I think I've actually found the one that will succeed today. Okay? So that's kind of my history. That's my journey to today. Last year, I left my job in healthcare IT and went into this business full time. So it's been close to a year now that I've been really pushing this, although the concept for this company began about 4 years ago. And the clients I've developed in my business today are over the last 4 years. Okay, so that's my history, my background. I'm going to take you into my presentation right now. Let's see. Okay, manage community life. I'm going to ask a couple of questions. This is going to be a little bit interactive here. First question. By show of hands, how many of you actually live in a community or a neighborhood that has a homeowners association like that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Great, okay. Good for you. All right. For the rest of you, how many of you have ever lived in the past? Those of you, okay. I'd be very curious to understand why you moved out. All right. And then the last question, and this is for everyone, those of you who are currently living in one, or who have lived in the past, who have never lived in one but heard about it, I'd like to know how many of you would never choose to live in a community that has an HOA? Yes, yes, yes. I understand that sentiment exactly, okay? And that was part of my frustration.
That's right.
And so, let's talk about the pain of HOAs. Now, like I said, I was an HOA president for about 7 years. It's, in this respect, it's almost a confession, okay? So one of the things that frustrated me as an HOA president is I'd come home from work and people would stop me on the street. Or I'd be sitting in my house and people would ring the doorbell. Right. And they'd say, I turned in an application for painting approval 2 weeks ago. Can you tell me what's going on? I'm waiting to paint. Or I turned in my application for fencing 3 weeks ago. What's going on? So as a really gung-ho HOA president, I would go try and track down their approval reforms. So I would go find the property manager and say, hey, did you receive a request for painting from XYZ neighbor? And they say, well, let me go check. And so they would go find their records, and then either come back and say, no, we never got it, which is great. Or they'd say, yeah, we got it, and we passed it on to the committee. Okay, of course, then I'd go find the committee members. Say, hey guys, did you get a request for painting from this homeowner? And then they'd say, we never got it. Or they'd say, yeah, we got it. We're gonna have a meeting in maybe a week and a half, and he can come. Or they'd even say, yeah, he's not gonna get approved for that, whatever the case would be. Now I realized immediately that this was a very frustrating process for homeowners. I realized it was frustrating for the property managers who had to get all these questions about lost requests or what's going on. I also realized it was frustrating for the committee members of that community who had to constantly take the brunt of blame as to why the requests were late or lost or whatever. And so, you know, basically, I said to myself, those famous 7 words, okay? The 7 magic words, who knows what those are? Oh, come on. Guys, how many entrepreneurs are there here? There's got to be a better way, that's right. The 7 magic words. The aha moment for almost every entrepreneur. I found something I can improve, okay? And I'm gonna do it. Okay? So, there's got to be a better way for architectural review for communities. And that's how ArchTracker was born. So let's see if I can get my video to play here. Hang on 1 second. If it won't play here, I'll go to my desktop. I think it'll play, good. I hope the volume's right. Let's go here. Oops, that's not right. I gotta pick it right in the middle. Here you go. All right.
Still struggling with architectural review on paper? Losing requests? Trying to decipher bad handwriting? Dreading uncomfortable ARC meetings with irate homeowners? Frustrated with not having easy access to past decisions? Put an end to all those struggles with ArchTracker. ArchTracker is an innovative and cutting-edge way to cut processing time of architectural review requests from weeks or months to just days. With ArchTracker, homeowners can create legible project approval requests in minutes, complete with attachments, online paint selections, and completed checklists showing they are complying with rules and regulations. Committees can review requests and dialogue with homeowners and, when ready, vote on the request all online. And requests are stored online forever. ArchTracker provides full phone and online customer support to homeowners and committee members alike. No more paper hassles. ArchTracker makes things fast, easy, and safe. Sign up for a free trial today.
There you go.
Good video.
For those of you who are in the entrepreneur arena, explainer videos are easy to make. Just get one of these companies out there, you give them your concept description, and you're off and running. So that was my kind of, I'm trying to do the second one of those. Okay, so there's my concept. If you understand what it is, basically putting architecture review online. And so that you never lose it, it's quick and fast and easy and safe. So let's take you through how it works. So I want to paint my house, okay? The first thing I can do with ArchTracker is I can submit it right online. So I can log in using my email address. Once I'm registered, by the process, I can fill out the form for painting online. I can look at the colors that the community has approved. I can look at the policies around painting. I can't paint it a glossy color. Will I have to paint my garage door the same as my front door? Whatever the case could be, I can read those guidelines and rules so I, as a homeowner, don't get into that trap of submitting a request that's going to get denied or get me into a fight with the community in general. So I can do right online. I can attach my drawings. I can attach my surveys if it's a survey needed at the property. And the minute I click submit, that request is available to the members of the committee or the board of that community. They get notified by email or text, and they can log in and immediately look and review my request. Now, they may still have questions. They may say, wait a minute, your house is on a retention pond. Therefore, you need to have a certain kind of fence. You can't put up a privacy fence. You've got to have a different kind of fence. And what they can do as part of the review is in the request, they can actually send a message back to the homeowner. And the homeowner can respond to those messages right within the request. So the conversation about your request is documented in there, and it happens in sort of like real time, because you can respond to your message at late at night or whatever. Compare that to the traditional process where you're in a meeting that happens once a month, you go in there, they may have questions, you go off finances and come back in the next month's meeting. It's an awful process. So this process really streamlines things, the review process. And when the committee has decided, okay, we have enough information, we're going to make a decision, they can actually vote online. So they can go ahead and register their vote to approve, or their vote to deny, or they can abstain. And then once they've reached that critical threshold of votes to approve or deny, the system can automatically send the decision back to the homeowner by email. And now your request is going to be stored online forever. It will be stored in the cloud. Which means that the next time a request comes in for fencing, the committee can go back and look at what the fencing request happened, a month ago or a year ago or something similar to that. So the committee has the advantage of being able to look at the history. The homeowner themselves can also look at their own history and see, yeah, I painted my house, this color scheme 4 years ago, whatever the case would be. So that's the process, online. Making everything fast, easy, and safe. We take a process that traditionally takes anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months, and we can turn it around in 2 days. Now, we do comply with Florida statutes, laws which say you can't just approve to everything within 1 day. You have to have notice and so forth. So we follow our rules. Now you realize, of course, that this is not unique to Florida. Okay? So I have taken this concept nationwide. I have communities in Texas, California, Indiana, South Carolina, Colorado. That's about it for right now. So the concept obviously is global in a sense. Everywhere there's a managed community, there's this whole process of controlling how the community looks by architecture review. So there's the concept. So who wins in this process? I think it's pretty obvious that homeowners win. They get to have their decisions made in quick time. Okay? Oops, what did I do? The architecture review boards, frustrated at homeowners who are unhappy with them, who are having to meet once a month, they come out as winners because they no longer have to have a meeting. I have board members who are architecture review members voting from the golf course or from the beach or while they're on vacation in Italy. They get online, look at the requests, and can approve and ask questions. So I've freed them out from the drudgery of these monthly meetings, so they get to be winners. Management companies. So most of the communities have either a company that helps manage the neighborhood, and their involvement is usually being, they have to get that paper request, they have to log it, they have to copy it, and then send it back to the homeowner, to the committee, and then when you get the decision, log it again and send it back to the homeowner. They get out of that loop. They get to go paperless, and they get to have quick access. And our support line answers all the questions from homeowners and ARC members. So they get out of the loop of answering all those questions also. All right, so let's talk about my challenges, which there are many. So, educating people, this is a better way. So here in Florida, if you are a part of a neighborhood that's managed, and you want to be on the board, you have to go through an education process. It's called, you become certified as a board member of your community. And at that session where you learn things, you learn all about things that could go wrong. You can't have a board meeting without notice. You can't have, there's certain things you can't do. And so there's a lot of, I would call it paranoia about what as a community you're allowed to or not allowed to do. And so educating communities that there is a better way has been a challenge for me, because people think, oh, I have to have a meeting. When they think, can I process this online? No, I'm not sure I can. I've got to talk to my lawyer. So that's been one of our challenges here. It's an education process for the members of managed associations, and also educating property managers. Companies that actually manage a lot of these associations, they also have a lot of misconceptions about what's allowed and what's not allowed. I have actually, when I first started the business, I went to an attorney, I got his opinion. Now, are there any attorneys in the room? Okay, not going to be denigrating in any way, but if you want an opinion, you can find an attorney to give you that opinion, right? That's kind of the way it works. And so I found someone who was a sole practitioner. He gave me his opinion, yeah, wrote it down. Now I'm getting another opinion from a more established firm about the whole idea of not having a meeting and doing everything online. So it's important because that comes up often. Are we not supposed to have a physical meeting? And my answer is no, you don't. Okay. Tradition, we've always done it this way. You know, and that's a hard way. This is how we've always done it, and people are resistant to change. And so telling them this is a novel new way, you know, a lot of questions, okay, what about all the old people in our neighborhood? What are they going to do? And I keep saying, well, they can call in and we'll actually submit the request for them online. So we have answers, but tradition's been a challenge for us in the past. Oops, those are two challenges. But I'll tell you some other challenges that I've had. So, marketing. How do I market this concept to my population? So I first started thinking, okay, I'll do it all online. People don't look for this product online. When is the last time any of you have done a search for architectural review for communities online? It never happens. So I gave up on that. Social media doesn't work for me. You know, ads online don't really work. So next I said, okay, what about trying direct mail? You know, those postcards that come in the mail, you throw them straight into the recycling. I try that. That's been marginally successful. I haven't really got any good leads at it, but I have gotten at least some attention. People understand what I do now. But that's pricey. So you know, I'm not sure I'm going to do that again. I thought about trying going to trade shows. And there are organizations for community associations. One is called CAI, Community Associations Institute. And they have chapters all through the US where property managers and board members all get together and they talk about things like, you know, hiring the right companies to do their lawns, so forth. So I've done trade shows, and I think that's probably one of my, going to be probably the key for me. Basically going out to all these chapters or these trade shows and kind of telling them about my business. I tried reaching directly out. I sent some letters, handwritten letters, to neighboring communities for where I lived in Ocoee. Ooh, that didn't work at all. I got a nasty letter back from a board member saying, don't contact me at home. Okay, so I gave up on that. So I think at this point, marketing for me is probably going to be trade shows and you know, chapters of the CAI organization around the area. You know, that's going to be one of the things that I'm going to ask you guys for, some ideas about how I can get this message out and how I can convince others. I will tell you this. when I started the company in my own neighborhood, we had a property management company that managed my neighborhood. And I implemented the product for my own neighborhood, and my board and my neighborhood loved it. And then the property managers who was managing my neighborhood said, hey, what's a great idea? They ended up applying it for every neighborhood in their portfolio. And they were my first relatively big clients. What I've found is that the managers, and when a property manager, a company manages neighborhoods, they assign what is called a CAM, a Community Association Manager, to each neighborhood. And sometimes a CAM may have 3 or 4 neighborhoods. They have got to go to their meetings and advise them and everything else. And I've found that those CAMs are my greatest evangelists. What will happen is, a CAM will work for one property management company, use my product, discover how easy life can be using my product, and then for one reason they'll go to another company. And they'll say to that company, you guys need to be using our tracker. And then they'll kind of make the introduction, I'll go in, and I've gotten my second and third property management companies that way. So, it's beginning to finally sink in. If I can get those managers who really benefit from this to go out and be my salespeople, I'm golden. So that's one thing I have noticed. The other thing that happens is neighborhoods themselves that are using my product. A good example is one of the neighborhoods that used my product for my first property management company. Neighborhoods themselves will switch property management companies. They get unhappy with the service they're getting from one. But what they will do is when they go to another property management company, they say, we hate that old property management company, but we love our tracker. We want to use our tracker. They'll either come directly to me and say, we want to continue using your service, how much do you cost? Or they'll go to their new management company and say, hey, you guys need to be using our tracker because it makes our life easier. So between the managers and neighbors themselves, it's been a slow evolution, a slow growth. And that's where most of my growth has come from today. I'll be honest. Most of my growth has come from word of mouth, from managers and communities, not so much from advertising and promotions. And that leads into my next thought. As an entrepreneur, one of the lessons I learned is that I can't do it all, okay? I'm an IT person. I'm not really good at presenting. I'm not good at selling. I can't manage the team very well. And early on, well no, I should say now I realize what I should have done earlier on, and I'm still trying to do today, is build a team around me. People who have the skills that I'm missing. Somebody who's snappy with the sales, who understands the marketing strategies. That's the kind of person I should have got earlier on. That's the kind of person I'm looking for today. Find, where I'm weak, find a strength. And somebody who has that strength to compensate for me. I'm good at building the product. I know my product inside out. I can tweak it and deliver. Now it's a matter of selling it. Okay, that was the last slide I had. So how am I doing in time? I know.
Great. Actually, perfect time. Good.
Okay, so at this point, I guess I can open it for questions.
Yeah, let's give it up for Robert.
All right, who's got a question?
Lots of questions.
This one you have to get right here.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Lee Sport. I am a realtor at North Beach International Realty, and I also work with a software company for timeshares.
How it happens, people.
And we do enterprise software, which is kind of similar to kind of your business model, it sounds like. Interested in what your pricing strategy is.
Good question. Didn't go with pricing. So, when I started the business, figuring out what the market would bear, figuring out what, okay, first of all, there's not a lot of overhead to my business, okay? There's not a cost of goods sold, I'm not manufacturing anything. My costs are in development and hosting. So I host with, GoDaddy and Amazon, and I pay for that. I pay for the development of the concept. But beyond that, all my costs so far has been trying to market. So there's not a lot of overhead for me at this point in time. So my price doesn't have to be that high. And I'm looking for the magic pricing model. But anyway, here's my pricing. I figured I would start my pricing on a graduated scale. I'd say for each house or each lot in the neighborhood, I would charge $5 for the first 100 homes. The next 100 homes I would charge $4.75 per lot. The next 100, $4.50. The idea being, I wanted to incentivize a property management company to add more communities because I would bring the per lot price down. So that's why I use my sliding scale. My lowest price for a community, let's say, or non-community, for a property management company that has 9,000 or more doors with me, would be $2 per door per year. That's kind of the price we're getting. They are still, this is per year, that's right. There are still communities that think that's too high. And so I do offer, offer a per request pricing, which means you have the option of saying for every architectural review request you process, I'll charge you $15. That's it. That way, if you have a low volume of requests, you don't feel that you're paying for this per door price. So those are the two pricings I have.
Is there a setup fee? Do you have anything to initiate?
So there is something that needs to be done to set up. And I have in my mind a setup fee between $100 and $300 to set them up. I'm waiving that as part of my promotional thing. And the setup involves, well, I gotta take their guidelines. You know, most communities have covenants. Somebody's gotta go through and pick out the relevant sections for architecture review. Because in most communities, the covenants will say, here's how architecture review should be done. The size of the committee, and then they have some rules around fencing that are written into the covenants, the rules around sheds or satellite dishes, whatever the case would be. So we take those and we put them online. Okay, so that takes some setup work. Also, if you have paints that are paint colors that are approved ahead of time, we put those online. So Sherwin-Williams, we can put those colors right online. So when you submit your request, you can simply say, I pick scheme number 7, and there are your colors right there. That takes work also. And then I've made the process of starting an account for a neighborhood super simple. You can go online, fill out one page, and immediately you have an account that your community can use. But that's an automated system, and that just puts 4 types of requests in. The 4 types of requests are landscaping, painting, fencing, and other covers everything else. But we have the ability to simply have as many kinds of requests as you want. So if our neighborhood says, we're going to allow zip lines in our front yard, we want to have something like that, we can put that in, put the guidelines for that, and you can pick zip lines and do it. So that's part of the setup. A neighborhood may want certain kinds of requests, tree removals, or sheds, or satellite dishes, or solar panels. And we can create type of requests and guidelines just for those. That's all part of the setup. So there is an initial setup. Once that setup's done, though, it's pretty much running on its own. So good question.
Good morning. I've got a question for you. Nice job, nice presentation. I love the product. Tom Jordan. I deal in websites, SEO. So one comment I have for you is I dealt in the apartment world with owners of multiple complexes. And I learned what you learned, which is the managers will become your evangelists.
Yes.
The ones who are down there in the trenches, they'll push and say, look, we've got to solve this problem. And when they move, which they do a lot, they move from property to property and company to company, and they'll say the same thing.
You're absolutely right.
Question I have for you is, what is your cost to acquire a new customer then?
So I did a presentation, I did a pitch to a venture pitch competition probably 4 years ago, and did my whole presentation. They asked me the same question, and I didn't have the answer there. And today, I'm still not sure because again, acquiring a customer for me, I've tried in a number of different ways. I've tried the direct mail, I've tried online advertising, I tried going door to door. So the cost of a customer for me is a little nebulous. Like I said, when a manager goes and recommends me to another company, I get it for free, basically. I mean, I don't have to invest in getting that client. I don't have a dollar number around that. And you know, that's a good question. I'd love to be able to say, yeah, it's cost me $450 to acquire a customer. I guess I can do the math, but I don't have an answer to that right now, unfortunately. So,
I have a question. My name's Mike. I own Elegant Limousines in Daytona Beach. And kind of a two-part question I have for you. First of all, you said that you're not too great at presentations. I think you're amazing because you know your product and you deliver it better than I think anybody else could. So my question is, does anybody else in the world offer this type of service? And if they do, have you done anything proprietary for yours to protect yourself from somebody saying, hey, look, this guy's got a great idea, let's patent it, build it, and squash him like a bug?
like the cockroach you are.
Exactly.
Okay, so really great question. So when I started the business, I wanted to make sure that I was not going to be knocking my head against a wall, against competition that was too big out there. I searched everywhere, and there wasn't anybody at that time doing what I'm doing. Now, I will clarify that in a sense. There is a company out there called SmartRes that's doing something similar. They have a mobile app where their managers' properties can use this app, and they can go around, and they do more than just architecture review. They do violations, which I stayed away from. The violations are your property manager's driving around the community and sees, oh, your grass is too high. I'm going to take a picture of that, send it off, and you get a violation letter saying you got to mow your grass, so we'll fine you. Okay? That's the violation process. I stayed away from that because I wanted to be on the happy side of life. Okay? I did not want to be getting into fights, people hating my business, and so I didn't do that. They also did work orders, which for apartment complexes, you can say, I want my door fixed or my window fixed, and they can put a work order in, and that's what they do also. I might get into that. And then they did architecture review. The difference with them is they don't offer the ability for homeowners to submit their request themselves, which means they don't offer the advantage of no meeting. One of my big selling points to communities is you don't have to have that meeting anymore. You can vote on your request at night. Now, that's not to say SmartRes won't become smart and add that to their portfolio. They haven't done it yet. And that no meeting thing is more relevant in Florida than it is in other states. In Texas, you don't have to. Texas is wild, wild west. You get requests, you give them back the answer, and that's it. Okay? Here in Florida, there's lots of rules around who needs to see. And so my product has more of an appeal in Florida for getting rid of meetings than let's say in Texas. But SmartWebs is a competitor. And there's a management company that's pretty large in this area called Century Management. I've been pitching them for a while, trying to say, hey, use my product, it'll save you money, it'll make your communities happy. They've been kind of waffling. And one of my fears is that they do their own IT internally. And they could just wise up and say, we'll develop it ourselves. Yeah. Now, they wouldn't be smart to do that because they don't want to raise prices to their homeowners. I mean, that's the death knell of a property management company. If you raise prices to your communities will jump to the competitor. Okay? Using me as a third party, selling to the associations, is a more palatable way of raising rates. Think of it this way. Century can cut their costs using me, charge the associations for me directly, and they still could come out ahead. If they did it internally, now they're doing that negative, raising their prices for something that they're delivering themselves. I'm hoping that they wise up and see that, but there's always that concern that a big company can catch my idea and say, hey, we can do it ourselves. And the question about intellectual property, IP, think about it. There's not a whole lot that you're doing that's really patentable. You know, I use email, I use the web, I use the concept. It's going to be a gray area where I can find a patent of that. You know, to get that defended. So for me, it's first to market.
Gotcha.
Back in the corner, yes.
Pedro PFS Investments.
Hi, Pedro.
I think you have a great product, but I'm really concerned with the way you sell it. I think you're really underselling yourself. One of the challenges I'm seeing is you keep saying, well, it didn't take a lot, it didn't take a lot. And if you're saying that to us, that comes across when you're trying to sell your product to these companies. So I believe that you need to start selling that not on necessarily what it costs you, but the pain it's going to save them. You know, and what that could do for you is you have to show them the gain that they'll have by avoiding the pain of going through the meetings and all those kind of things, and sell it that way as opposed to what it costs you. Because most businesses don't cost us a lot once we know what we're doing.
Right. And that's great advice, and I appreciate that. You know, I shared this with you guys. I don't do this in my presentations to customers, what my cost is. I did share it with you. Hopefully you won't go tell everybody in the world. But, you know, I look at Shark Tank. I look at Shark Tank with those kinds of things, and there's always that question, what's your cost? You know? And I was honest. I don't have a whole lot of cost, but I'm not making a lot of money. Okay? And so my point is this, you're absolutely right. I will never share my low costs. Okay? For the purposes of my customers, there's a lot of work that has to go into this to get to make it. And I have not yet replaced my income from giving up my job a year ago. You know, so I'm not embarrassed about the fact that I charge my price where it is. I need that to make money. So I appreciate that. That's the point.
Alex Hennig, Signature Real Estate. I'm actually in a condo project, and I'm on the board of directors. So my question to you is, so do you take our bylaws and you load it up into your system and figure out all the little incremental things like you're talking about the door, and we just had somebody request replacing a window, you know, and it took 2 months to tell the guy that he can do it. You know, it was a pain in the butt. We had a couple of meetings, and I'm looking at this thinking, this is really stupid. You know, I would have said to the guy, just do the window, you know? And so how could you present that to us? And you know, you alluded on the pricing, but I didn't quite get the pricing on how it works. Is it a monthly subscription? You were talking about per door or per lot or something like that. I mean, our building has 27 units in it. You're not going to make any money on that one. So, you know, I just want to get an idea about, you know, how the process would work.
Okay, good question. So, the answer to your question about windows, we do put all of the rules and guidelines around, let's say, windows online. Condos have not traditionally been a market for us because there's not a whole lot of requests for changes in condos. Because in a condo, it's a shared building. You can't paint it your own color. You might need to change a window or a door. Those are pretty simple. And so we have no condos right now. Although I'm hoping that maybe they'll find out first who sees the value in it. Clarification on the pricing. So our pricing is per door or per unit per year. Okay? That's what it is. So if I say it's $5 and you have 27 homes with 27 units, it'd be 27 times 5. That's the cost annually for you. Or you could go on a per request basis, which means every window that they change and they get approved, that's $15. And you're right, I'll be not making any money in you. I won't be losing, but I'll be not making money in you for sure. My idea is though, if your property management company adds all the condos, now I'm in the business of making a little money there, incrementally. So I hope that answers the question of pricing.
Is it so, just taking that example, 27 units, you know, $5 each, so it's $135 a year. So
right.
$135 and all the people are, and then we can do as many requests as we can.
That's right.
If we want.
Mm-hmm. You can, as many requests as you want.
Hi, Michelle James here.
Hi, Michelle.
I'm business coach at Space Coast Credit Union. I also happen to have my realtor's license, and I also happen to serve on our HOA.
Oh, okay.
So, as I was thinking through your product, and just several things. So, I went through this process as being a first-time home buyer in an HOA program. Luckily, our community is smaller. It's only 46 homes, so they just pass it around a few homes locally. But the pain point was, when you're going into an HOA, what are you going to expect at the HOA? So I'm also thinking with the realtor, if they can present and say, hey, they have Art Tracker, I know you're going to want to go in as a buyer, it's quick and easy, you can paint your home as soon as you move in, so maybe presenting it to realtors as a selling point for buyers or the seller and just educating them will help with that transition and with that pain point of bringing community into an HOA. I don't know if that makes sense, but just something me personally would help. So,
That is a really great idea. And it ties into what just happened just recently. Well, not recently, but we have property managers. Okay. Realize that when I use Art Tracker for a community, it's wide open to the public. People don't think about that. You don't have to be a member of that community to actually register with the email and start looking at requests. That makes some people kind of nervous. But look, what can go wrong? Somebody's painting their house. You know, okay. But what property managers are doing now, and exactly what you're saying, is potential buyers coming in wants to know about a community. They can go to Art Tracker for that community. Excuse me. And our guidelines are available even if you don't log in. So you as a potential buyer or a real estate agent can look at the guidelines around architecture review for that community ahead of time. So it's a great point, and actually, you know, I'll think about that, I'll remember that. How can I get real estate agents to actually proselytize for me? Yes, great idea. Thank you. Right. Yes.
Good morning, I'm Tina Carlisle. I'm actually the owner of several assisted living facilities and a consultant, healthcare consultant here. Great presentation.
Thank you.
But I will say, personally, I feel like you're underselling yourself because your time, your efforts, your taxing effort that you put into your business, that's money. That's money that you're wasting. So I would rethink that because I think the product that you have is a great product that brings value. So rethink your pricing. Definitely don't undersell yourself at all. Because sometimes you underselling yourself will make people also think, is the product even worth it?
Right.
So you have a great product. I would definitely charge for my time and effort that I'm putting in to load and upload and so forth and so on. And as far as marketing, every single person in this room and outside of that door is your customer. So unfortunately, you have to think from a broad perspective. And that's how I had to think of with our business as well too. Keep your business cards on you at all times. You're in Publix, you're in, you know, Walmart, wherever,
Sure.
you know, wear your shirts, you know, whatever, wear glasses, whatever you need to do. But you have a great product, and I think you should definitely push forward in any aspect of selling your business to awesome.
Thanks for that. And let me build on that just a bit. You know, I talked at the beginning about knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are. Okay. If I were honest with myself, one of my weaknesses is I don't oversell myself. I undersell myself. That's a weakness.
It's cultural. Yeah. It's really cultural. I'm from North Africa. I feel embarrassed when I have to sell myself.
Yeah, okay.
It's a cultural.
The other thing I do that I know is a mistake, and here's a perfect example. I signed up a neighborhood that's 3,000 homes in the east side of Orlando. They all were excited. So in the presentation, we said, I don't have a contract, okay? Which could be a mistake. I just say, sign up. When you start using it, I'll charge you. Now the problem with that is that happened back in December. It is now April, and they still haven't begun using it because there isn't that pressure to start using it. And that comes back to my, you know, my personality. I'm not a pushy kind of person, and therefore, you know, sometimes I let them slide along before they begin. And my wife is always on the case. You guys have gentlemen, oh ladies, your spouse is your best bet because they'll give you the honest opinion on what you're doing wrong and what you should be doing. And she says to me, you gotta have a contract. You gotta push these people. And she's pushing me to push them. So I understand what you're saying. Understanding myself in one of my weaknesses. So I'd love to find a salesperson who can go out there and sell and really make it look good. Thanks for that input.
Good morning, LaToya Carey, Brand Inspirations, Photography and Graphic Design. My question to you is, you mentioned the CAMs and them being your greatest evangelists. But what I haven't heard from you, and you also talked about the marketing strategies that have not worked. What about your marketing strategies towards those CAMs? Do you have one designed, or are you using any?
So I mentioned that I did this CAI, which has chapters. There's one here in this here. It's probably not called Daytona. It's maybe called Space Coast chapter or something like that. That's where I can go and I can meet CAMs. Okay, that's been my approach so far. I would love to have a mailing list of CAMs and send them the direct mail. So I think direct mail will work if it's to the right person, right? Because they'll get it and they'll say, hey, this makes sense to me. Everybody else will throw it in the garbage, but they'll actually read it a little bit. they list the company they work with, so all the neighborhoods to the company. So I can't get the home addresses. So my only way of reaching them is to go to those chapter meetings or those trade shows. But yeah, you're right. That getting to those camps, I think, is a great marketing technique for me. Just got to figure out how to do that. Appreciate it.
Hey Robert, Sean Donovan, entrepreneur, and in my former life I was a real estate broker and community manager. And my first question is, where were you 15 years ago? Probably had a lot more hair if I had met you back then. But I've gotten an idea I think that might help you with your shyness in selling. Let your users, through testimonials, be your greatest salesperson. I mean, I liked your animated video, but what I would picture would be a better selling tool is maybe a 90-second to 2-minute video showing some actual testimonials from homeowners and property managers and board members that have utilized it. Maybe run 2 parallel stories where you've got Steve and his wife filing a request to paint their home. They're like, oh my God, and 2 weeks have gone by and they haven't heard anything. And then meanwhile, Bob files, and the board members are out. One of them's on the golf course. Oh, hey, Bob wants to paint his house. Oh, and he's going with color scheme 7, approved. And Bob's got the painter at his house 2 days later, and meanwhile, 2 months later, you show the board meeting and the board members are bored to be there, et cetera, et cetera. So you can make a little 2 parallel story and use that as a testimonial, and then you email that link out to your CAMs and your property managers, and boom, 90 seconds you've got a great commercial from you, and then you follow it up with a lunch or something like that where you've already told the story.
I know somebody.
Pure gold, right there, right? I tell you this.
I'm ready to buy now.
I did at the beginning when I got my first set of communities. I actually did an email out to every member of the architecture community. And I asked for feedback, a survey. I got lots of great testimonials. It's referenced in some of my material. One guy said, I'm actually getting compliments from my homeowners now that I'm turning things around faster. So you're right, testimonials like that I think are a great tool. I just need to do what you say and leverage it higher to a video level and then start using that. So great ideas, I really appreciate that, thank you.
Hi, good morning, Andy Clark with All Aboard Properties. And I have a couple of manufactured home communities that we manage, and I think that our property management software might have this component, but I'm not sure. So I was just wondering if that's another possible competitor.
Yeah, it is in a sense. Property management software focuses on the aspect of what happens at the property management company, the storage and the logging and so forth. You'll find that the reason that your communities still continue to have meetings is they don't have that element that gets the homeowners to submit it online and has that like open meeting. So you're right. We actually integrate with a number of major property management software itself. So there's a company out there called Thomson, and there's another one called Caliber and VMS. Those are probably 3 of the major ones across the country. And we integrate, meaning that when a homeowner submits a request to our product, if the property management company is using that software, the request can actually appear immediately in their software. So that helps. But yeah, one of my concerns was those software companies, if they see a lot of success on my part, could start adding that to their portfolio. Yes.
Hey Robert, Michael Zaharias, Florida Virtual Entrepreneur Center. Really great presentation. I'm actually pleasantly surprised because I wasn't sure what to expect today. But a couple of comments for you, and then I've got a question as well. In all the businesses that I'm involved in, selling is about relationships. If it were me, I would get your schedule put together, get your butt in the car, and go meet as many CAMs as you can in person. Because at the end of the day, somebody that's going to write you a check or sign up for the service, they're going to do it because of the relationship that they have with you. No direct mail piece, no ad. And that's great for brand awareness, but at the end of the day, it's relationships that sells products and services. So you've got to get out there. The other thing is, have you thought about either bringing on a CAM as a partner or paying a referral fee to a CAM for getting your product into maybe an area where they're, neighborhood that they're involved in? You can pay, incentivize them is what I'm getting at to promote your product. The other thing I'm thinking too is that the price you're charging, several folks have mentioned, I think is too low. Everything I've heard, I would charge by request and also put in a setup fee plus the request. model? And then the question I have for you is, you mentioned it very quickly, and nobody else has asked about it. You said there's a call-in option. Who do I call it into? And that's a pretty big expense, one that wasn't mentioned.
Okay, so I appreciate the comments. I won't respond to them because I think they're right on point. I definitely do a lot of the things you mentioned. Let's focus on the question, the call. So my concept is, when I offer a management company my service and I say it's going to be, oh, it's not up here. My tagline, which I invented myself, is fast, easy, safe. I'm going to make the process fast, I'm going to make it easy, I'm going to make it safe. You don't lose a request. And when I do that, my commitment is nobody's left behind. If it's an old person in the neighborhood that wants to do it, they can call and they have it done. But you would think that that would get used a lot. But if I make it easy enough for a homeowner to do it online self-service, they'll never call. And I have about 120 homes, communities right now. And right now, that's generating maybe 2 calls a day. And I have my sister, who is actually answering calls to me, if I can't. Okay? So far, the call-in option hasn't been one that's sunk us. Okay? And the better job I do at designing the website interface, the less I get those calls. You will still have the elderly people who get frustrated and they call in. It's a matter of a minute or 2. I submit a request for you. You just have to have a valid email, and it works. So it hasn't been a factor so far.
All right, round of applause for Robert. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Feet there. Yeah, good stuff. Great questions, everyone. I appreciate you challenging Robert. And let's get Robert back up here. You're gonna help me out a little bit. We got some giveaways. So first and foremost, this one's for you. As a presenter, you get one of our cups. So we have a new. Let me see the cup. We have a new 1 Million Cups coffee cup. So you're gonna be seeing these around. So we will be giving one of these away every week, obviously, to our presenter, as well as we're going to start a new contest. We're going to be bringing back our 1MC app. So we're going to have some information, but you'll have the opportunity to win one of these if you've got the app on your phone and you start checking in. So I'm going to start buying your votes. All right. That one we're going to give away via card today. So first one, we got some books. So if you would please grab one card, we're going to give away first 2 books. First one, who do we have?
This is Shaba Enterprises.
Yep. Shaba. Do you? Yeah. Okay, we're going to do it again then. Thank you. That's very nice of you. How about, would you like the cup? You want to shop the cup? There you go. All right, we'll give you the cup.
This one is Pedro Quinto Dash.
Pedro! Come pick book. You're a winner. All right. Announcements. You have one? Okay. If you want to come on up. I want to remind everybody that the Elevate Daytona Beach Summer Edition is open right now. We do have auditions going on. We've got our speakers, etc. working. But tickets will be up for sale here soon, if not already. So I hope to see everybody here. It's coming up on June 19th.
Good morning, everybody. This is Shaba Shams, and I am here for 2 reasons. The first one is I'm in the library, and I am bringing some information regarding a big event that we're having May 4th, and it's called the How To Festival. Alex is presenting on that day. Thank you, Alex. And last year we had both Sean and Thais present. So I have some templates and information here, so please grab them. Come enjoy a day of how to make things and interact with the community, bring your kids, awesome programs. The other announcement that I would like to make is regarding a mastermind group that I have been exploring and trying to create and looking into for the past 2 years. So if you guys are interested in joining a master group conversation regarding how to grow and leadership, please provide me with your business card and right behind it, leadership. Thank you.
Thank you very much.